Good morning, Mr. Stephen Dow. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I want to talk about a deal that I heard Ken McElroy just closed, actually in my backyard of Henderson, Las Vegas. But before we do that marketing thing so we can get into it and neither of us get in trouble.
Thank you again, sir, for remembering. Although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own, but let's get another one going.
Yeah. So one of the things I loved about this deal that Ken McElroy just did was it's an example of what my channel has been talking about for the better part of 18 months. So I'll highlight what we've talked about, and then we'll break down the deal. And then most importantly, why I want people to work with you to understand what you could do in this part of the market, because you're not only single family homes and quads, you can do bigger things.
Right.
So when I think about the commercial market, I go back to one of my conversations with Jonathan Twomley, where we turned $100 million asset into a $48 million asset like that.
I remember that.
And it was very, very real, simple assumption,
Eye-opening.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Cap rate goes up a little bit. NOI goes down a little bit. Bingo, bango. The property is worth 50% less.
Right.
And I suspect when a lot of people saw that video, they understood the math, but they're like, that can't happen. That doesn't happen. And it's happening. So let's talk about this deal. Again, Ken McElroy did a video. I love his stuff. I watched it. So this is all from memory. So Ken McElroy found an opportunity to buy a large apartment asset in Henderson, Nevada that's 3 or 4 years old.
Mhm.
It last sold for roughly $150 million. Because of rising cap rates, rising debt, lowering NOI, he was able to buy that asset for under $100 million. Think about that. 33% off. Now, again, Ken McElroy has the luxury of playing in the ultra class A. It's a beautiful property. It's not even 5 years old.
Right.
But what I want the audience to appreciate is while class A is trading and we are seeing values take significant haircuts,
Right.
I believe we have not seen the pain at all. And where I play class B, class C, kind of, 5s to 40s, 5 to 50 units.
Right.
But it's coming. It's coming. And I think Velocity could help a lot of people because you offer some pretty creative options. So what do you think about that? Buying a $150 million asset for under 100 because cap rates went up, NOI went down. It's wild, right?
Well, the old saying goes, takes money to make money. When you got enough money to kind of like leverage or look at that kind of, asset class, and to be able to, have the resources to make a legitimate type of offer, even a, obscenely, offensive offer, and get accepted, then yeah, it's a wonderful play, and very happy for Mr. McElroy. But as far as the pain that's coming, I would 100% agree with you. We've been seeing a lot of uptick in business overall as a company. I haven't quite added all the numbers as far as how much commercial, how much residential, but again, just with the news reporting that $1.5 trillion in commercial paper is supposed to be maturing by 2025, I would imagine there's going to be, a whole flood of that at some point, because in the rate environment that we're in now compared to where they took out those loans, in the past, there's going to be some pain. There's going to be people that have to sell or take a huge, cut and stuff like that. So I think opportunities are definitely out there. You just got to do the work.
Yeah, and again, Ken makes it very clear in his video that it takes networking, it takes lots of conversation. He's lucky enough to have teams that kind of get in and figure out who the big players are in different markets. But again, I want the audience to understand, and I think Ken McElroy's video is something like the greatest reset or like the biggest opportunity or something, and that is exactly what's coming.
Right.
There are class B, class C, smaller assets where I play that are frankly, where we play. Thank you. 40% overvalued. Mm-hmm. And sellers have there's only a few options, right? They can do it. The lender could do an extend and pretend.
Right.
Right. We'll give you another year and pray things get better.
Right.
I actually think that was working until this latest increase in rates. Right. Once rates went up 100 basis points, that extend and pretend is looking less likely. So that's
right.
that's not going to happen anymore. And again, this 1.5 trillion in commercial paper, they've already extended a lot of that 1 year.
Right.
And a lot of that debt given the commercial market, there's clocks on it, right? That the cash has to be returned. So they can extend. It's not like a residential loan, right? They can't
No.
just, it's very different. Second, the seller could do what's called a cash in refi,
Right.
right? If you have 100, I don't know, let's say a $10 million asset that's now worth 5 million and the debt is, I don't know, 7 million.
Right.
In theory, if you could write a $3.5 million check, it's a cash in refi, you're good to go. Not a lot of people are going to do that, and even less partnerships and syndications, right? Can you imagine going back to your investors and saying, whoops?
Well, it's happened in the past, obviously, just not. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be in that person's seat. That's a little nervous for sure.
Yeah, and then the last one is they're going to become forced sellers, and by becoming a forced seller, they're likely absorbing 100% loss on the equity, at least, and the banks might even be impaired 10 or 15%. So it is going to get messy, and it's going to get messy quick. Could be 25, but might be 26. But this is pain that's coming for all of us. Again, I think it's John or Ken McElroy is already trading. The other thing I want to point out is Blackstone. Jonathan Gray, one of the top 4 real estate investors on my Mount Rushmore. He called it like 9 months ago. He said that the commercial market is bottoming, and they put something like $150 billion to work. So I like a guy who makes a call and then puts his money where his mouth is. So it's
agreed. I mean,
this stuff's coming.
Yeah, a lot of people that talk the talk, but they don't do they don't walk the walk. And so, like you said, puts his money where his mouth is. So, no, I think it's a smart move because, again, there's going to be a lot of the mix of the forced sellers and all that other stuff. So, I think there's going to be opportunity. And in some cases, maybe there's equity in the property, and then maybe they could do the whole, 50, 40, 10, even on commercial. So there's definitely opportunity out there. It just depends on the overall scenario, situation, and then resources that are available for us to kind of play with. So, but would love the opportunity to kind of chit chat with anybody that has, any potential options to kind of discuss a little bit of strategy. I mean, I kind of just want to hear what the details are, what, the seller, how much they've gotten information, or what, what the initial kind of opportunity would be, and then kind of fill in the gaps. But a lot of times people just have to actually do the homework. I think in the next couple of videos, we'll be talking about when it's going to be potentially, talking to the seller and how to negotiate that. So, but yeah, I really am looking forward to it. I mean, I'm on pace this month to have my biggest month, I think, for the year so far, leading up into what normally is slowing down. You know what I mean? So, and I've seen the regular conventional market slow down too, just because rates have jumped up 100 basis points. A lot, I don't know, maybe some people are waiting until after the election, stuff like that. But definitely on the residential conventional side, I mean, a lot of my friends have told me that it's slowed down a lot. But on our end, I mean, like I said, I'm on pace to, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the beauty of Velocity is you're a make sense lender, right? And you're not swayed by what's going on the daily gyrations of the 10-year note.
Right.
That's what Velocity is a great, you always call yourself plan B. I think you're going to become plan A for a lot of people. If the spread on the rates is, less than 100 basis points, ease of use, speed, the flexibility to have a second, there's just a lot there. But I want to go back to something you brought up, and maybe we'll do this, like you said, a further conversation on talking to sellers. The reason I think we can use Velocity in this environment that's coming for 5s to 50s is, think about it. You can go to a seller and you could do basically what Ken McElroy did, is say, I can cash you out. I can buy your asset. Right. Debt goes away. You walk away. You take some heavy losses, but the asset's gone. That's like a cash price, even though I'm sure it was a loan. But you can also go to them. You know what? There's this other option. What if we worked it out where, we took over, a first, and then we gave you a bigger number, but you carried it as a second. Yes, you're not going to get your equity today.
Right.
But is equity tomorrow better than nothing? Right. Again, let's take this $100 million asset. Let's say a cash price is 60 million, but maybe this, this 50, 40, 10 or something else. Hey, we're going to take 5 million, put it on the back end. It'll be a balloon payment 5 years from now when we hope the world is different. I mean, there's just lots of ways you could do different kinds of offers.
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, the meaningful conversation with the decision maker on the seller side is typically the linchpin, right? Once you can get to the decision maker, and you can kind of communicate the full dynamics so that they know what to expect and why a lot of these things, are happening. That's where I think you would really know whether or not the numbers can make sense, because it's just, again, the major questions: do you need all the proceeds from the sale of your property, as far as the seller? If that's a no, then how much can you hold and for how long? And then from there, that just gives you enough of a base to kind of set up the framework and back into the numbers as far as like financing on my end, and at what leverage and at what rate. How does that impact the overall monthly mortgage payments relative to the rents? And so it's just a big old math problem. That's really all it is. Just gathering data and just coming to talk to Uncle Steve, and
Yeah,
we put it all together.
Yeah, I think this is really important stuff, because again, the flexibility, solving a problem, offering potentially the seller more proceeds is
Right.
is pretty valuable. So if somebody has an opportunity out there that they're playing with, again, these will always be multiple conversations about the
agreed.
50-40-10, about carrying second, all of that. All they got to do is email you, right? sdow@velocitymortgage.com, baby, right?
Right. Oh, wait. Right there. Yeah, it's kind of like backwards. Yeah, right there. Oh, wait. Oh, right.
It's weird. This camera thing's weird.
Yeah,
there you go.
There you go. There you go. I like the technology, though. This has been fun.
There you go. There you go. Well, again, if you have more questions about this, you're looking at bigger stuff, you think you have a seller that's interested, you can go ahead and reach out to Stephen Dow at sdow@velocitymortgage.com. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.